Jeff, it's always a pleasure speaking to you, especially because when we're talking about the fastest sport in the world, with, can I say a new name with the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy? Can I say that?
You can. It's very exciting to say. The Ontario Honda dealers have been a longtime partner of the event, and it's really incredible to have them as the entitlement partner moving forward with the Indy here in Toronto. So the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto, a very exciting name, but it goes back a number of years through our partnership with the dealers. And it really started in 2010 when we launched the Fan Friday initiative with your Ontario Honda Dealers Present Fan Friday, and that incredible program since then has raised well over $1 million. So very excited to have Honda the Ontario Honda Dealers Free Fan Friday return this year, and hopefully raise a lot of money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation in Canada.
We're going to get into all of that too in a moment. But, you know, everybody always talks about the big race that happens as we speak this Sunday. And it's actually happening on my 60th birthday. So, you know, two exciting things to me going on that day. But there's always a lot of events that happen before that. Even as we speak, you know, we're getting a chance to see the new trophy, the crystal. So many things are going on. I don't know how you guys do this, man, and put this all together with so much leading up to it. It's almost like the race itself. It starts off slow and then it just speeds right up.
Yeah, it does. It goes right through the weekend, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But equally important, what happens during the weekend lead up. We have a lot of preparation here at Exhibition Place. Takes a lot of volunteers, workers to put the event together. And it's VIP events, it's media events. It's really connecting with the people here in Toronto. We got some wonderful charity events also happening on the Friday and Saturday evenings. We have a great event with the Children's Breakfast Club rides the Toronto Indy Racetrack happening Saturday night. That will give away a bunch of bikes to youth in the community here in Toronto. And I know we're very thrilled and happy to share our public space when we're not using the racetrack with great, wonderful causes.
Absolutely. Let's get into more on what's going to be happening. So let's
Yes.
go into which Friday to me is just as exciting and what goes on Saturday. Let's go back on that and everything that's going to be happening there, because this is really how do I put this, fan friendly stuff.
It is. So, we ask on the Friday when you come down with your Ontario Honda Dealers Present Free Fan Friday, you make a contribution when you enter to Make-A-Wish Canada. What you can see that day is a lot of action on the racetrack. So from about 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. that day, you can see sports cars, you can see the USF championships, you can see the Radical Series, and as well as an NTT IndyCar Series practice. So, you can see the top cars compete, and we'll finish that day off with an actual race with the Radical Series. So what the Radicals are is they're a North American series that competes both here in Canada and the United States. They have a combined series they will compete with on Fridays. So those fans coming down on Friday can enjoy their race at the end of the day to complete the Fan Friday.
And they do get a chance to see the new trophy, correct?
They do, yes. So our trophy is going to be on display all weekend. It's a beautiful Waterford Crystal Trophy curated by William Ashley. You'll see one of our Indy cars on teacups all weekend. It's a very impressive display. And I know William Ashley and the Ontario Honda dealers are very proud of what William Ashley does with this trophy. So obviously you can get a chance to take a look at it, but it really comes down to being that presented on the Sunday and the championship driver from the NTT IndyCar Series that gets to capture it. I know they talk a lot about how important this trophy is to win, and we always view Toronto as one of the crown jewels of the NTT IndyCar Series. So having a wonderful trophy to go with the win is a great way to finish off the weekend.
What's going on Saturday now? Isn't that we start figuring out who's going to be placed where?
Well, it's one of the most important days. You can talk
Yeah.
about how important the win is, but it's really how you start the race overall. So, Saturday is our qualifying day. So late afternoon on Saturday, the NTT IndyCar Series will be on the racetrack competing for qualifying. They work in a kind of a knockout format where they go in groups, and they will see who the fastest person to navigate the streets of Toronto is, and that person will get to start on the front row on the Sunday for the race. Now, there's a new variable this year with the NTT IndyCar Series cars. They have introduced a hybrid component to their cars, and with the hybrid component, gives some extra horsepower. So we might see some faster times here in Toronto this year. It'll be very interesting to see how it all unfolds.
Okay, now on Sunday, what is going to be happening? Because a lot of stuff happens even before the race. And if I'm correct too, we have some very special people going to be part of it. Call them one of, if not the greatest Canadian group to ever come out of this nation. They're going to be part of this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Iconic band, the Tragically Hip, will serve as your grand marshals for the race. And for those who don't know what a grand marshal is in motorsports, they are the group or individuals who get to say, "Drivers, start your engines," and that's a fabulous way to start that race on the Sunday. But get down here early. That is my recommendation. The race
Yeah.
is an early afternoon start. There's lots of things to see and do away from the racetrack. People often ask, "Well, it's hot outside." We've obviously had some weather here in the past week or so, but I think the forecast is looking fantastic. And, a great way to beat some of the heat is come indoors and see the new Ontario Honda dealers pit stop activity near the IndyCar paddock. So I encourage fans to check that out. We also have a new beverage zone and a cool down zone in the Intercare Center. So for those who don't want to be outside the entire day, checking out our wonderful exhibits and activations, you can do so inside as well this year, which is new for 2024.
Let's talk about the big factor. You kind of mentioned it, the weather. How do you think the weather is going to affect Saturday and Sunday? Because as we know, and as we speak, we just had a massive downpour. Thank goodness it happened when it did. But throughout the summer, we have had these surprise downfalls. How do you think this might affect Saturday and Sunday? Even though the weather guys can say one thing, what actually Mother Nature wants to do, she's going to do.
Yeah, it does, and it's very unique. I live down here as a resident and follow the weather very closely in terms of how I plan my days, and they can be unpredictable. We saw that here over the last week. We had 3 of probably 6 days where our day shifts were washed out. We built in these contingency plans, in terms of us planning this event. We work 24 hours around the clock to set up, and we'll be more than ready to go on Friday. But the variable throughout the weekend can make an impact. The cars are prepared to race with wet tires should there be any rain. Hot conditions can also change the race. So, tire performance becomes a key component. How do the 2 different tire setups compare, the hard compound and the soft compounds for the IndyCar series? So, there's all these variables with weather that comes into play, but the drivers who are very incredible athletes, they are very much prepared for the, what's in front of them here as they tackle the streets of Toronto.
Who are some of the Canadians we should be cheering on?
Yeah, so right now, in terms of what we got to look forward to is, having 2, strong Canadian race car series out there with the Sports Car Championship Canada and the Canadian Radical Series. There's Canadians all up and down the grid for those 2 series. In the junior series, in the USF Pro Championships, a young driver by the name of Matt Clark is very competitive.
Yeah.
He's an up and coming driver. I think he's very exciting to follow in terms of his career path and trajectory. So he's one guy. If you're coming down and you're not watching the IndyCar series necessarily, please follow Mac and watch his career develop. And hopefully he can achieve his dream of being a NTT IndyCar series driver in the future.
Now, when we look at this race itself, I mean, you've got at least 15 guys who can win this thing, 20 guys who can win this thing. And we've got some guys in this who have won this not once, twice, a couple of times.
Absolutely. The NTT IndyCar series is one of the most competitive series in North America and throughout the world. The races are very close, and with that, anyone can win, as you've suggested. They've come off a very busy schedule from a competition standpoint. We're all heading into an Olympic break here as the Summer Olympics are upon us, and this is the last race before that break. So it's going to be a very competitive race. Not that a race wouldn't be, but this is a race before a little bit of a break in the schedule. And whether it's driver 1 or driver 27, anyone can certainly win. And there are some favorites. Alex Palou was the championship winner last year. Very strong driver. Joseph Newgarden, the defending Indy 500 champion, is going to be on the streets of Toronto. And then a driver who's been with us for quite some time, Scott Dixon, multi-time champion of the Indy here in Toronto. He's always competitive on any given Sunday. So, anyone can win. I'm not sure who I'm going to choose in terms of winning. I'll probably keep that to myself. But, this series does provide for a lot of entertainment. And you look at last year with Christian Lundgaard, who won the race, that was his first win in NTT IndyCar Series car. So, a guy like that can come out of nowhere and grab their very first win here on the streets of Toronto, as it's very unpredictable.
Okay, so tickets. Can we still get tickets? And, because there's so much going on, you just don't want it just for the race. For anybody who's never gone and thinking about it, you literally want to go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Correct. Thank you for asking. Yeah, tickets are still available. If you, if you're looking for a grandstand ticket, some great, viewing angles available to you in our grandstands. But a lot of customers like buying our general admission tickets, and general admission allows you to walk around and find some different sight lines and that around the racetrack. We've marked those on our track map on HondaIndy.com. We've also added some new areas up this year that we didn't have open previously. So those who are coming down and buying a general admission ticket, hopefully they'll find those this weekend. So tickets at HondaIndy.com, and we hope you'll join us.
And last question, not even a question, but just making sure, folks, this is all, of course, we're raising money, awareness, make a wish, always very important.
It is, yeah, absolutely. If you're coming down Friday, please make a voluntary donation to Make-A-Wish Canada. We've raised a lot of money over the years. That money is being matched as well. So we encourage you to make the donation. And if you can't participate, then we do have other charitable events that do occur. And I encourage you to look at HondaIndy.com for those details.
There's a reason why this is the fastest sport in the world, my friend. Thank you so much for this. Cannot wait. And thanks to everybody on the other side behind you, man, for bringing this back every year. Just makes the summer so exciting.
Yeah, thanks so much.